Boom. Here we are. New format, new look. They gave us a little countdown to come in. I like that. We are back. It's another week. It's the best of both worlds of wrestling podcast. I'm Chris.
Now I'm Khalil. I'm happy to be here. Ready to get to it. It's an exciting time of year, y'all. Royal Rumble season.
Which means it's almost a road to WrestleMania. Which
Indeed, y'all.
Which has a nebulous effect because every wrestling company in the world takes advantage of WrestleMania weekend. So everyone's always prepared to put on their best shows, their best matches, everything.
They eat off of this.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it. All right, we're gonna start with big free agent announcement. Okada announced that his contract with New Japan is up, and it is widely believed that he will not be re-signing with the company. So Okada, probably the biggest name, I would say it would be the equivalent of they say Tanahashi's like the John Cena of Japanese wrestling. So I would put Okada but I mean, I wouldn't put Okada in that same vein because he's been at the top of New Japan for so long, like he was the guy. And for so long, Cena was the guy in WWE. So I don't want to compare it to Roman because Roman feels newer, like career-wise. So, but Okada is that guy in Japan, basically the biggest star in all of Japanese wrestling, and him being a free agent is big news. But it is widely speculated that he's probably going to sign with AEW, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually signed with TNA as a long shot, because both give him the freedom of an open schedule so he can wrestle anywhere. But with TNA, there isn't as much of a line to wait in when it comes to being a main event player.
I'm gonna trust your judgment on that. I feel like if you're gonna leave New Japan, man, you want to come to the States to get the big bucks. That's how I feel.
So it's different with Okada because
this is the area of the show where I'm not as versed. So I heard Okada before. I might have seen a couple matches, but if you say he's great, I'm looking forward to seeing wherever he ends up and what actually ends up happening.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good at emoting during matches, which is tough in Japan because Japan usually leans towards just the action in the ring. But he has the body language. He's if I could describe his quote unquote character, because they don't really have characters in Japan, he is basically he grew up rich. Like he comes from a family with money. That's why his nickname is the Rainmaker, and because it's literally he's just balling out of control.
Oh, so, really? Yeah, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so he always has this air of arrogance about him. This this air of privilege, but on top of that, he backs it up in the ring because he works really hard. So it's not like, I'm a rich kid just, coasting and I'm at the top because I'm rich. Like he works his ass off. But he usually wrestles with I don't want to say a chip on his shoulder, but just with the aura of like, you're beneath me. Like the way Bryan Danielson carries him. Yeah. The way Danielson would carry himself in a match against Eddie Kingston, like, yo, you're not on my level, bro. Like, you're trash. Like that, but in a more smug Japanese type of way. But and he's a big guy, he's over 6 feet tall.
Did he do any Forbidden Doors or anything like that with AEW?
Yes. So
okay.
I believe the first one, he was in a triple threat match. It was him, Hangman, and I don't know why the third person is just blanking on me for some reason.
No worries. I was just curious to know if he already made it. I feel like I've seen him before. That's why.
Yeah. And then in last year's, he was in the match. It was him versus Danielson. That was a match. Danielson broke his arm.
But okay, I could do
that. But it'll be Okada's in his mid to late 30s.
I remember this.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a thing where he sounds like a 10-year contract. I mean, well, wrestling's different now. People age different now. Their bodies are lasting longer, but I don't think it's going to be a thing where wherever he signs, it's going to be like a 10-year type of deal. I think it's going to be 3 to 5 years, have his little U.S. run, and then go back to Japan, balling out of control, and just living life. Because he's married, he has a kid. Like his whole life is basically established in Japan now. So I don't think it's going to be a long U.S. run for him. But he is basically the biggest Japanese free agent since since Nakamura. Yeah.
There was a lot of hoopla when Nakamura came over.
Yeah.
And Nakamura's one guy that he gets it, man. Character and all.
Yeah. Okada was basically after Nakamura. Well, Okada was already on his way up and had a couple of championship runs while Nakamura was still in Japan. But once Nakamura left, it was like, all right, now it's Okada and everyone else. I mean, you got Tanahashi and Naito. Like those are guys who've always been at the top of they're basically like the Randy Ortons and the Edges. Like they're always around the top of the card. But as far as who is the guy, it's Okada. So we'll see how that shapes up, because he just wrestled at TNA's last pay-per-view after swearing off TNA, because his first initial run, which is about I want to say 10, 15 years ago, they had him. It was like basically just stereotypical Japanese evil guy. He hated it, and so he basically never wrestled again for them until last weekend. So, and he said he loves TNA now. They buried the hatchet. It's a beautiful thing. So we'll see what happens.
Say less. Okay, well, we got Okada. We don't know what's happening with this dude, where he's going. I am biased, as I usually am on this show. You should go to the E and be somebody. You know what I mean? Go to the top of the top. I'm sure they want to. And Triple H would probably do a lot better with him than Vince did, or would have done with somebody like him.
Yeah.
So I look forward to that. As you put me on to earlier, as I forgot, Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, made a debut probably 2 weeks ago now in New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom, I want to say.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom.
Then the following week shows up in TNA at their, I think it was Hard to Kill show.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Man, my ears are to the streets, man. Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah.
it was very critically acclaimed. They boasted record highs in ticket sales, over the highest in a decade, and most watched in some time. And a lot of that had to do with them going to a decent sized venue. I forgot the name. I think they went I forgot the name of the hotel. I want to say it's the Palms, but I could be wrong. It was some hotel out there that they did it at.
Yeah.
And it got good reviews. I mean, people always have good things to say about TNA production. Given they do the most of what they have. And so it seems to be another one of those types of situations.
Definitely.
As I told you off air, this is cool. I just think it's funny how like these wrestlers leave, go to other companies, and then they just become their regular name. And it's like, it doesn't work. Everybody's name don't work. Like Adam Copeland don't really work. It worked with Kevin Nash. That sounds like a cool name. It worked with Scott Hall. That's a cool name. Like these are, Kurt Hennig is a cool name. Like,
or just do the whole just a fake kayfabe last name. They can at least do the kayfabe last name. Keep your first name. Give us a different last name.
Because Nick Nemeth sound like somebody that should be like Twilight or something like that.
Well, let's not forget
Nick Nemeth.
Nick or Dolph's first exposure to us. Oh, yeah, I know, right? Well, his first exposure to us was as Nikki from the Spirit Squad, so let's not forget that. But I think
he was
it's
Nikki.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. I think it'll be a
Well, right. It's not his worst name.
yeah. It's a shot in the arm for TNA, and with him, like he seems to have I guess a quote unquote second wind. Like he seems very re-energized and like ready to like. Because I didn't think he would come back to wrestling. I thought he would just stick to doing comedy. But it looks like he hasn't lost that itch, and him and
They
Mustafa
always come back to
Ali,
wrestling, brother.
yeah, him and Mustafa Ali about to have like the greatest free agent summer, spring in a long time, man. Those dudes are everywhere now.
Yeah, what is Mustafa doing, yo? Like, I heard he's been pushing, like, he's really getting to do some stuff with his character he's been wanting to do, but I'm not really clear on like where he's seeking to, like, exhibit his stuff.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So he lives in Chicago, so he's basically been wrestling any indie that's come to Chicago. Like he hasn't left home. He's like, oh, you in the city? All right, I'll do your show. So he did GCW, which I would say them and MLW are probably the biggest independent promotions. He's gonna be at New Japan Strong Chicago pay-per-view. So he's doing that. And like yeah, he basically just did every notable indie that's come through Chicago in the last couple of weeks. He's been wrestling for them, which is funny because he's just like, yeah, I ain't traveling, bro. Y'all gotta come to me, or we gotta have it so that you're conveniently in my town while I'm here, so I can do your show. But I'm sure he'll be traveling soon. But yeah, he seems his character's like he's been taking it more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw shades of that towards the end of his WWE run, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see where he goes. He hasn't done an Impact, a TNA appearance yet. We'll see if he'll do anything else outside of Chicago. But for the time being, it seems like it's his home base, and basically that's where he's going to be for now.
That makes sense. He trying to keep the peace and stay home. He be on the road a lot prior to that.
Yeah,
I think he probably pull what like Drew McIntyre pulled and some of these other guys where he won't get big enough. I'm just saying, like, he'll refine his character,
yeah,
and come back as a totally new type of new presentation and from something that they can sink their teeth into at the WWE. I don't think he had any beef. It's one of the youth property. That's my guess, and I can see that happening.
And he's still young, so like he's got a lot of years left.
Also funny that we ain't even, but that's the end of Nick Nemeth in TNA and BOBW. So we went. I was like, oh yeah, Mustafa. Forgot about that guy. What's up with him?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if
tell us more about Trinity.
Trinity. Oh yeah. So rumors were abound in the last few weeks that Trinity's run in TNA was finishing up and that she was going to head back to the E. But she won her match at Hard to Kill. She beat Jordan Grace to retain the title. So people were like, oh, maybe it's not happening. And then she was advertised for the recent set of TNA tapings. So they're like, oh, maybe she's staying, whatever. Maybe they worked out a deal and she's going to come back. But footage, I don't want to say leaked because everyone knows TNA does their tapings in blocks. But footage was released of Trinity giving a farewell speech to the TNA crowd at the recent Impact taping. So it looks like the rumors are true. She will be gone. And I think it's safe to assume she'll be back in the WWE alongside her husband, who I think they just recently celebrated 10 years of marriage. It was
that, man. That's a lucky dude.
Yeah,
you go back in our prior episodes, you can hear us fawning over the funkadactyls of the past. And
yeah.
long time ago. A long time ago.
Yeah, but Trinity definitely had a great run. Trinity definitely had a great run.
But they'll be feeling the glow again.
Yeah,
is what we expect in the WWE. So no
And
doubt.
it goes to show like TNA is not the joke it once was now. Like honestly, the only handicap they have is they can't offer as much money as AEW and WWE. Well, otherwise, everyone recently has been
They don't have the same backing. That's all.
yeah, and everyone's been waxing poetic about their runs in TNA. Like Will Ospreay just did a few matches there. He loves it. He calls himself a TNA kid. He said the AJ Samoa Joe Christopher Daniels triple threat is what made him want to become a wrestler. So, and then
Wow.
Trinity, they treated Trinity with respect from the jump. Made her the top woman in the company. Like I mentioned earlier, Okada coming back, signing Nick Nemeth. I believe they signed Alexander Hammerstone, who was in MLW. He was like the MLW heavyweight champion, so that should be big for them. And yeah, like the whole rebranding of going back to TNA, it really feels like they got a shot in the arm now. Like it's really their second life, and it feels like it's
They're
going to be a good
benefiting
thing.
from the same boom that we're enjoying in the industry across the board. Like it's just a healthy time for the industry. People are willing to invest because they see it's doing well. And honestly, I mean, it's gonna sound biased again a little bit, but the type of storytelling and writing that the WWE is doing, I think, is encouraging people from the outside looking into like think that this is all very viable. Like they see the engagement
Yeah.
with the fans, they see the reactions. I watched, we're gonna talk about some Royal Rumble stuff in a little bit, but I watched the last year's Rumble, parts of it. I watched a couple nights ago. That's the night Sammy hit Roman with the chair.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
to hear them
yeah,
react to that,
yeah,
like people were so invested in it. I watched, I mentioned later with Rhea Ripley, like her win, Cody Rhodes win. People cared about these people doing these things. I think the optics of that will encourage people in other promotions to be like, oh well, this shit is hot right now because look at this. We can make
yeah,
something. Even with a smaller production or whatever the case. So, it's good to see. We haven't seen stuff like this. I seen someone on Twitter the other day. My dude Raj, shout out to Raj. This guy was discussing with him about like, yo, he don't think the business has been this hot in 10 years, and Raj was like, no, I don't think it's been this hot in 20 years. And I'm like, you know what? It's definitely 20+ years since it's
yeah.
been like this. It had moments over the last decade, but like this, and with the amount of options we have,
Yeah,
not since we were kids,
yeah.
legit,
It's it's crazy, and I think social media helped that a lot. And when I say social media, I mean like
Mm-hmm.
the weird pockets of social media, like the people who do fan cams and people obsessing over their favorite wrestler now, the way celebrities get obsessed over in the mainstream, and it's just building that presence and just people are loving it, man. People are loving it. More outlets are covering it now with Bleacher Report and everyone having their own little wrestling section. Yeah, man. And then TNA is doing it
People are
right by
into it.
not.
Like it's moving numbers now. It's legitimate because it's gaining eyes. That's the
Yeah,
business of it
yeah.
all.
And like, it's one
And
thing to take
yeah,
advantage
that's
of the
I
boom
benefit from
period.
it too. We get into that a little later, but I we all benefit from it in the
Yeah,
media space.
yeah.
But also to close out high tag segment, we got some update on what I didn't really realize was an injury to Seth Rollins on Raw. And they, I believe, reported that he has a partial tear of his meniscus
Oof.
and I think a torn MCL or something like that.
Oh, damn.
They are saying that his they haven't said anything about requiring surgery. I'm sure they have to do some surgery, but they said the recovery from these things they're actually maybe within like a 6-week period
Yeah,
if you really can hit the ground running, depending on how
yeah.
soon you do it. I don't know what his options are, but they say that he's gonna be on Raw. Well, we're recording on Sunday. They say he's gonna be on Raw tomorrow night. Um, I don't know what he's gonna say. Y'all know I want this punk shit to go down. I'm hoping he does that shit like what Ric Flair did, where he was like, "I will never retire." I hope he does some type of swerve. I would never
um,
retire.
You
And it's
gotta,
like, I'm gonna be a fighting champion. If he was to drop the title at Mania anyway, then hopefully we could get him to Mania, have the
yeah,
match. Then
yeah, and
then he
then
could take a break. But
exactly, yeah.
he has been on the road a lot. But what's your thoughts? What do you think this dude's gonna say tomorrow night on Raw?
I'm hoping that they do it a way where he can just be on ice until Mania. So just have him on TV cutting promos, keep that knee well rested so he can do as much as he can at Mania, and then after that, have him drop the title and then recover. Because this would be a hot angle to just have to drop, and it's like, what do you do with Punk? Because everyone is speculating or assuming that that's the feud, Punk Rollins for Mania, and I think it's a safe assumption to make. But like, then what do you do with Punk afterwards? If Seth considers taking the surgery now and missing the time, but I think I'm leaning towards them finding a way to just prolong this until Mania and then having the match. Finding a way to not have Seth need to be on TV every week, which shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. Do some pre-tape segments, stuff like that.
I'm leaning towards that too.
Yeah, or you can do like with MJF and Samoa Joe, outright say, I'm hurt, I'm banged up, I'm not wrestling until the pay-per-view. And I think fans would understand that because they want the match. Which I'm
cool with also.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be a rap. That's all. I just don't want it to be a rap.
Mm-hmm. That's the last thing we want.
And I think part of me feels like we have an idea what the announcement is based on when he comes out to give it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he opened the show, I feel like
it's bad
he's
news.
Gonna go get surgery and he's not gonna be able to make it. If they put him on at like 9:00 or something, then I feel like they're not gonna give us a bummer in the middle of the show. That's just how I feel.
Nah.
So it's gonna be interesting. Regardless, let it be known that he's done a hell of a job in the role that he's in, and I've appreciated all the work and all the matches, and he's made it very interesting, entertaining, fun, and regardless of what he needs to do, I hope he just has a speedy recovery. So shout out to Seth Rollins.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
It's the guy, the man who married the man.
Yeah, ironically enough, I threw in here a slam of the week. I didn't know if you had one, but it came to my mind just very briefly. I caught the first match of Dynamite. I saw Christian Cage versus Dustin Rhodes for the TNT title.
Oh yeah.
Dustin Rhodes can still wrestle like Goldust. Like they had a great match. Like I was watching, like, yo, this is a regular match. This is not even 250-year-olds. This is just a good match. I was like, this is mad good.
Yo, and that's not even Dustin's best match in AEW.
I know. That was just this is a regular ass TV. I mean, I just had to give that shit props. I thoroughly enjoy watching it. It was a lot of fun. And I'm not to put in perspective that this dude was wrestling in like '89 or further back. Before I was even ever watching this shit. And I came to know him more when he became Goldust. I mean, I seen Dustin Rhodes. I didn't know when I was a kid I was watching Dustin Rhodes as Goldust. I just knew Goldust. So I'm thinking about like '96, and this dude is he's doing it, man. So I just got to give them props. I didn't know if you had a slam of the week, but I had to just tip my hat to the.
And I think his sobriety has a lot to do with it, like with his body being able to last this much longer and everything like that. Shout out to Dustin. My slam of the week, I had two matches in mind. So Samoa Joe and Hook, which was a great, like, I think it was only 10 minutes, but it was a great, like, championships. Like, Joe looked dominant. Hook fought back when he needed to, and it was just, he took a nasty Uranagi on the announce table.
I saw that.
It was one of those things where the table didn't break on the initial impact, so it just looked and then it collapsed after. And then the other match I was looking at was from Collision this past Saturday, last night. Daniel Garcia versus Buddy Matthews. They had a really, really good high impact fun match. Like there's been this feud between House of Black and Daniel Garcia and FTR going on, which is it's going to culminate in an elimination 6-man tag cage match next Saturday. So that should be fun. But I'm gonna go with Joe and Hook because Joe is in my personal top 5. And Hook is young and up and coming, and just for the shits and giggles of the Hook, Jinder Mahal, nebulous, not quote unquote beef because of Tony Khan's tweets.
That was a nice little moment.
Yeah.
I like Hook though. Shout out to Hook. I'm interested to see how the character grows.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hook is cool, man. No beef over here with Hook for me at all. That was a physical bout. Being that we're in January, we're a week out now from the Royal Rumble.
Yes, indeed.
I figure we could discuss some of our favorite Royal Rumble outcomes or memories that we might have. Mm-hmm. I thought of that because around this time I'll go and check out old Rumbles, old random Rumbles, and what did I forget, what was going on at the time, type shit. And I came up with 5 of my own. I mean, there's certainly more moments for me, but these are the 5 that I can remember that they stand out the most in my mind. I guess for different reasons. So I'll start. Just I remember watching. I didn't watch it live. I remember getting like a VHS Coliseum video of Royal Rumble '94, and Yokozuna was fighting Undertaker in the casket match, and like all the bad guys came out, beat up Undertaker, threw him in the casket, and then like at the end when they were pushing the casket back to the back, the lights go out, and then they show the Undertaker on the screen, and they act like he's in the casket. They got some camera in the casket, and his body come out the casket on the screen, and then all of a sudden some person rises up, and it's like the Undertaker behind the screen, and he's like going up into the ceiling. I'm like, bro, what the hell is happening? This would eventually lead, I believe, to the Undertaker versus Undertaker thing that they did at SummerSlam some months later. But that was '94. I guess he was hurt and needed some time off before WrestleMania 10, so he went and had some time off. But that's one of my earliest Rumble memories. Royal Rumble 2, I remember.
I'm saying that is one of the most iconic Undertaker moments. Like
that shit was. I thought it was really like, man, I was sold. I was sold.
Man. That's one of the most that made me fall in love with Taker back then.
Royal Rumble 02, I remember because I watched that shit on dial-up online. I didn't have cable at the time, but they were like, "Yo, we're streaming it online." And I'm like, "Oh, I can watch it on the internet."
AOL.
So I went and I begged my mother, like, "Yo, can we please just cop this thing and watch it online, whatever." And so I had to watch it because they were talking about, "Yo, the Godfather coming back, Goldust coming back, Mr. Perfect." I was like, "Mr. Perfect." I was like, "Nah, man, I gotta see this stuff." And what I remember most about it, number one, the Godfather brought out mad hoes. I was mad hype. He kept running back for more hoes. I was like, this is what we like to see. Goldust, like we referenced earlier. I mean, even when he came back at this, he had a good run in the Rumble. When he came back at this juncture, 20 odd years ago, 22 years ago now. But Mr. Perfect was great, and he ended up in the Final 4. And I didn't expect him to last as long as he did. So I have to shout out just that Rumble had some fun returns. I think returns sometimes are better left to surprise. But at the same token, I thought it was still straight. Then the next year, I remember, I think I did order the next year. Where they had Unless it was the same year. I'm not sure if it was the same year or not. It was either 02 or 03 Rumble. But Maven drop kicked the Undertaker out the ring and eliminated the Undertaker.
Damn,
And the
what's that
Undertaker
movie?
proceeded to beat his ass all over the arena in anger after that.
Let me see.
Big one for me. Then I'll do the fourth. I'll do Shawn Michaels in '96 because I randomly watched that in Panama one summer. Actually, while I was watching the Royal Rumble in the summertime, but it was on TV. And
it was 02, by the way.
You know, with Maven.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So sorry, I got that mixed up. So then, yeah. So Maven was on 02 as well. But yeah, the '96 Rumble, Shawn Michaels super kicks Diesel out the ring. Diesel pissed off, and then he comes back in the ring like he pissed. You think they about to scrap, but then they say we're friends. We're friends, but as we could revert back to our first episode, some months later at the house show that I attended, then he beat up Shawn Michaels anyway.
Yeah.
Right before WrestleMania and turned on him and broke my heart in nosebleeds at the Madison Square Garden. Lastly, one of my memories of the Rumble is last year's Women's Royal Rumble that Rhea Ripley won. And it was more so the nature in which she won. The ending sequence between her, Liv Morgan, and
was it Charlotte?
Asuka,
yeah.
Ridiculous. Where Asuka goes to do the mist, Rhea ducks or something. Liv Morgan gets the mist, and they all on the apron, and Morgan is like blinded. Rhea kicks off Asuka off the apron, and then now she's like playing defense on Morgan, but Morgan kind of gets her and kicks her off the apron, and the legs almost hit the floor, but it don't hit the floor, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And then Rhea lifts her legs up from that position, like what they say, skin the cat type of shit.
Yeah,
does that shit? Grabs Rhea with her thighs and grabs Liv with her thighs and pulls Liv off the shit with her legs.
Throws her ass out.
That was one of the most creative elimination ending sequences. It's hard to recreate or make something like any more interesting than that. So I just wanted to highlight that. That shit was amazing. There's a bunch of great Rumble moments. I thought that shit was amazing.
It was a lot.
It was. So those are my couple Rumble memories of the past. Okay. That's all.
Yeah. It was hard to narrow it down to 5. It really was. But so I'm gonna go with the first one that came to mind to me for some reason was Cena returning in 08 at the Garden, MSG. One. Like he had the torn tricep. So no one was expecting to see him at least for another 6 months. And then I think he was number 30. I'm pretty sure he was 30. And then
yes.
30 hits. It's a brief silence. Then that opening note of his music comes on and it is pandemonium and the fans go nuts. And then they remember they hate John Cena and then they start booing him immediately. And it's like, bro, I can't hide it. We know y'all was hyped to see him. Don't even try and play yourself. So that's and I think he ended up winning the Rumble too. I'm pretty sure he ended up winning that one. So that's one. My second one is the 99 Rumble as a whole. Because it had Austin and McMahon coming in at 1 and 2. And they were the last two in Austin. And McMahon eliminated Austin to win the Rumble, which pissed me off. Everyone back then was rooting for Austin against me. I can't think of one person who would say that, oh yeah, I was Vince and the Corporation, those are my guys. Like I was hyped when they got the upper hand.
I like the Corporation. I wasn't into Vince though.
Yeah. But like when The Rock was the face of the Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when it was lit. And then that same Rumble had the Rock versus Mankind I Quit match. That was famously documented on
Brutal.
Oh, what was the paper? What was the name?
Beyond the Mat.
Beyond the Mat, yes, Beyond the Mat, and it was just like that. That was such a brutal match. But then seeing the footage of like The Rock after, like before the match, being mad friendly and everything, and after the match, going back to check on Mick and like being mad respectful and stuff like that, and it's just like, yo, you just beat this man damn near to death to the point where his wife and children had to leave ringside.
Great out there, man. Did you hear them? That was great.
And that's how you know Mick is a wrestler's wrestler, man. That shit is crazy. Like just and seeing the footage of his head split open.
Yeah.
I think The Rock had to apologize to like his kids, right? I feel like he did.
I don't know if I saw that in the flick, but I'm sure they might have sent an apology. I don't think that was in the movie.
Yeah, but they definitely left ringside because it was too much for the wife and kids to take. They were like, nah, this is crazy.
I saw Beyond the Mat in theaters.
Oh.
And watching it in the theater with people, everybody felt so like there was so much sympathy. It was like, oh no. And you know, his daughter was crying. It's like, oh, we gotta leave. We gotta go. Everybody there was like, oh my God.
It was amazing. Just
I had that shit on DVD. It's a great. I gotta get Wrestling with Shadows on DVD or whatever. I got Beyond the Mat on DVD. It's something great to own. If you ain't own it as a wrestling fan, you should have that.
Listen, once upon a time they were both on Netflix. I don't know if that's the case
early
now.
Netflix days.
Yeah. But so the 99 Rumble, and then I will go the following year, the 2000 Rumble. And that one was because my man Taz debuted, defeated Kurt Angle, ending his undefeated
I was at
streak.
the Garden.
Yeah. And I'm a huge Taz fan. And I'm a huge Angle fan, so that was like I was hyped for that. Like, I was real hyped for that, and because like it was everyone knew Taz's contract with ECW was up, and that he was going to come to the WWE, but we just didn't know in what fashion. And to debut him like that, like you could tell they had some plans for him, but unfortunately, the neck has always been his nemesis, and it ended up I think he was retired by 02, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was doing commentary by like right after the invasion, essentially.
Yeah. And then
it ended pretty quickly.
And then the Rumble Rumble also had the return of Cactus Jack versus Triple H. And I remember that's one of my favorite feuds.
No holds barred match.
Yes. I remember the build to that feud. I remember that Raw when he came back as Cactus Jack, the Raw before, and I was like, yes, this is what we needed. Because Triple H was
he started like taking off his shirt, like, I know a guy.
Yeah. And you see the flannel underneath, it's
Triple
like,
yes. Triple H is like, oh no.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what time it is, man. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
And then
Triple H sold that to the moon.
Mm-hmm. And then that Rumble ended up being the one that The Rock won. The Rock eliminated the Big Show to win that Rumble. So it was just a trifecta of things for me. The Rock wins.
Hit the floor. That whole controversy. His feet hit the floor, but he threw off the Big Show or whatever. I heard that was actually a real mistake.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
People forget. No one gives The Rock credit. Like, they forget he won a Royal Rumble. Yo, no one never talks about The Rock won the Royal Rumble.
Nah, because I mean,
they don't talk about Brock Lesnar won a Royal Rumble too. They don't really be given like.
It's crazy because I wonder if it's because they've only won once, and like people of their stature. No, Brock won twice.
Oh, Brock.
No, Brock won once.
Yeah, Brock won once, I think.
Yeah, once. And
but when he comes in these days, he's such a threat.
Yeah.
You know that you would think he would have won again.
Yeah.
But he's used sort of as a ploy, man, as an object of anger. So if you do eliminate him, we got beef.
Yeah, exactly. That's the next feud.
Eliminate me, we got beef. That's our match. You know what I mean?
So it was a big deal when it was a big deal when Drew McIntyre eliminated him that year. But I will say, so then the next one I have is AJ Styles making his debut at the Rumble, and I forgot what year that was. 2018. I don't know if it's 20. I can't remember what year, but AJ and Samoa Joe like post, I guess say the end of WCW and everything, like outside of the WWE, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles were my two favorite wrestlers in the world. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing about those two. So finally seeing AJ debut in the WWE was just like, because for years we thought like this is one of the best wrestlers to ever live, and how can he not have a WWE run? Like, how can he not have a WWE run? And then there were people who were like, oh, would the WWE treat him right because, you know, he's undersized, traditionally, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, it's a new era. Like, he's the one who ushered in the era of smaller superstars. So, like, of course they would treat him with the reference he's got. Like, dude, and by that point, he was a 15, almost 20-year veteran. So had won every world championship. Right time, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the only down point was that during his entrance, they cut to Roman's reaction instead of leaving the camera on AJ. And I'm like, yo, we don't need to see Roman's reaction. Not at this point. Like, we'll see the reaction once AJ makes it to the ring. But yeah, AJ Styles debuting, that's one. And then my last one is a tie. So it would be remiss for me not to mention this. Ric Flair winning it in '92.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, especially '92 being one of the greatest Rumbles ever.
With a tear in my eye.
Yes, and like, because no one, like at that point, Flair was one of those dudes, much like AJ when he debuted. He had done everything in wrestling except make it big in the WWE or WWF at that time. And that was like the only like feather he needed left to put in his cap. And just seeing it happen was just amazing as a wrestling fan. And then I got that tied with HBK winning from entering the number one.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. So that is those are my two. Because I didn't want to choose. Those were the two I was fighting over, because I know I couldn't go more than 5. So I was like, nah, let me just throw those two in. Let me just throw those two in together.
There's many. That Ric Flair promo is in my top 5 Ric Flair promos.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's, you know, I just wanted to dig. I felt like, you know, Royal Rumble 92. Like, I know people probably expect more mention of that. I'm just like, yo, me digging the crates a little bit.
Yeah.
I start connecting it to like, oh man, I could never watch pay-per-views back then, but I can remember everything, all the pay-per-views I did check out, I do always remember those. That was rare. You grew up in a black family, you was not watching every pay-per-view unless you had the box.
Listen, you know, exactly. Like, listen, happening. I remember my first pay-per-view was St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and I remember that pay-per-view vividly.
I was like, damn, how Vince gets so ripped.
Bro. I remember the hardcore match that ended in the Mississippi River. I think it was Hardcore Hollywood.
Valentine's Day Massacre. They've done that.
Yeah.
They tried to do that several times over, which is so throwing people in the river. I think John Cena threw Edge in the river at some point during their feud.
Yeah, but this wasn't the typical throw them off a bridge into the river. This was like they were at the banks of the Mississippi River. I believe it was snowing.
I think it was Hardcore Holly and Al Snow, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, man, I remember.
Of course, the cage match, and then Big Show making his debut in that cage match, and eventually, yeah, unwittingly
school the next day. It was like, yo, the giant is in there. I'm like, what are you talking about? That was one of those ones. It was like, what? What did he do? He came up from the ring. What?
And then threw Austin through the cage. Bro,
that man is crazy. You're trying to imagine all these things until you watch the Raw or the SmackDown or whatever. And it's like, wow, he really came up through the ring.
That's a
trip, man.
I know, right? Well, damn, man. Then Damn, there's a
But
lot
we
of Rumble memories. There's a lot of
and I
Rumble
think we're gonna have a good
memories.
one this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intrigue.
Yeah.
As we transition from what we've seen in the past to today, you have any thoughts on who wins this year? Any surprise entrants we might see?
So,
match outcomes.
so here's the crazy thing. It feels like I was watching Raw, and it felt like they were almost too overtly pushing the Becky Lynch winning the Rumble thing to where I think it won't be Becky winning. Like her coming out and interrupting Rhea's promo, and then I forgot who they interviewed in the back, but I think they chose Becky as their favorite to win. But I'm wondering if
they don't have to she don't have to win to get to Rhea. That's the beauty of
it. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like I think like that'll be the WrestleMania match because I don't see why. I don't think they face each other. At least not at this level where they're
I don't
both
think they have faced each
at
other.
the top.
What this also means though is my girl Jade might not be ready yet.
Unless she debuts during the actual Rumble itself and just has a good showing. Like they can give her
debut in the Rumble.
Yeah. Give her a good showing. Multiple eliminations like Kane or something like that. And then she gets eliminated via nefarious ways. Well, here's the thing.
Maybe
you set it up.
Maybe she make a Mania appearance.
Or someone costs her in the Rumble, and then you build a feud to Mania off whoever cost her the Rumble. I feel like that's the easy way.
Or she cost Rhea the belt at Mania. She could probably cost Rhea the belt at Mania. That's what I think.
But then, do you put her in with? Yeah, I think you got to give her a little heater feud before throwing her there. Because Rhea is.
We'll see.
Because then Jay would be the heel by default because the fans love Rhea.
Oh yeah, I that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. People are gonna cheer initially though. It's like this is
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
just the appearance of her. Yeah,
that'd be what's gonna be. I'm not mad at that. But I already my pick is already. I think Bayley gonna win that joint. And
I'm hoping for Bayley.
Story and this is gonna be the most interesting Damage Control is about to be going into WrestleMania, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
and I'm excited. I mean, I'm just speculating, but if it goes down this way, I'm gonna be so excited for Bayley to have her moment. It'll be good for her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then I see Trinity making her return during the Rumble. As a surprise entrant.
What's not going to happen that I wanted to happen? I think I might have mentioned this the last episode, but I want to blow off with Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen because they got Zoe Stark with Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. And they just, I forgot. I was just watching a tag match show. I forgot who they were facing. But yeah, I don't think maybe Trish is just like, all right, I'm done. I did my little thing and I'm done.
She's not done. She's not done.
Unless
she might not be at Mania, but she's not done.
Yeah, unless Trish is another surprise entrance at the Rumble and goes right after Zoe.
Maybe they would be the Rumble. You don't. Yeah, you cannot leave after that amazing cage match. You cannot go. I don't care. You got a lot of left in the tank, like Mark Henry said. You got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. As far as who do you see as a surprise entrant for the women's outside of Trinity?
For the women, well, we've mentioned Jade, but I think Jade is going to do her thing. The shorty Camille,
yeah,
maybe her.
I don't know now because they said she was backstage at Dynamite last week.
Yeah, I heard she was kicking it back there as well. Yep.
Yeah, but she might just be visiting friends.
I'll put her up there.
Yeah, I forgot about her.
I
Yeah, she could be a
think
surprise. Hmm. Maybe I don't know.
yo, let's not
Julia.
rule out.
I
Let's
don't know
not rule
about
out
Julia.
Jacqueline. I heard Jacqueline might want to come back and do some stuff with them. So that's what she said today.
Listen, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Jacqueline a little older. I think she's about
Mm-hmm.
60. I don't know, but she thinks she could do something.
Yeah.
I'm down to see if Jacqueline comes back and does something.
Listen, they brought Victoria back a couple years ago, so I
They
wouldn't be
brought
surprised.
fucking Ivory. Ivory was older too.
Yeah.
Ivory came out and did a damn thing a few years ago. Medusa did the first one. Medusa came to the first Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll put it out there that maybe Jacqueline. You know who else I'd like to see? Fuck, it's a long shot. I'm gonna keep advocating for her, but Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Jazz. You know, she deserve a look.
Hell
She didn't
yeah,
even
and
deserve to
she.
go in the Hall of Fame this year since they're gonna be in Philly. She deserved that too since she started in ECW. My opinion. My
Yep.
opinion. I'm not gonna
Yep.
start advocating for Jazz. Jazz
Yep.
was amazing when she was good, man.
Hell yeah.
Please.
Her and I would have. Yeah, you could have Teddy Long induct her because
It's gonna be straight.
I believe
Induct
Teddy
me
was her
both.
manager. It was her, Teddy, and Rodney Mack together, I
He
believe.
was for a little bit. It was
Yeah.
her husband Rodney Mack, Mark Henry. That was the crew.
Yeah, and I think no,
I
I
might be
don't think
missing
D'Lo
one other
Brown was in
person,
it.
but that was
I
the
don't think
crew.
D'Lo was in it. I'm only thinking that because I just saw a clip of D'Lo. The other, I forgot it was from. I forgot what episode of Raw, but D'Lo was like basically saying like, "Yeah, it's time to get this title off this white boy," and shit like that. So I thought he was part of the white boy challenge that Teddy Long used to do.
Yeah. Some people be so tight about some of them things like crime time. I'm like, bro, I enjoyed them. I can't front. That stuff was funny, man. The white
Listen,
boy
my favorite
challenge.
clip: Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff. Get this cracker out of my ring. Yo, son. Like they be like, yo, Vince said the N word on TV, but he did let Teddy Long call Eric Bischoff a cracker. So balance.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't get absolved totally from using the N word, but I understood the comedy aspect of it. Like I understood the
Yeah,
idea that like,
yeah,
hey man, like you know how they be saying, oh, you guys use it. Like, how is it that white people among each other? How is that going to be received? You know what I mean? Like I understood what they're trying to do there, but Vince
yeah.
is probably the wrong guy to do it.
I
Vince is
said
the wrong guy to do it,
nigga.
man.
Like
You
with an
know,
A, nigga, not nigger.
and then you and Booker T looking at him like, tell me he didn't just say that. It's just, I get it, man. I get
Yeah.
it, but they could have done without it. I
Mm-hmm,
understand.
mm-hmm.
The show could have done without it. It would have been fine. So that's the one argument
Listen,
I could get.
yeah.
But
What
yeah,
about the men's
those are
side?
some of my surprise entrants. I think for the women's rumble. I don't think we're gonna get a world championship match. Uh, the I think we're gonna get a Rock appearance at the Rumble. I think you should get a Rock
Mm-hmm.
appearance,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it should have something to do with the outcome of the Fatal Four Way. And I pray to God they find a way to incorporate Hollywood Rock into this, but doesn't look likely. But it would be so much more entertaining if you did that. I stand on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. One time for the culture, man. One time for the one time. And I feel
He has to
like,
know, man. I'm about to just fill up his
yeah.
DMs, man. I'm just DM him crazy.
Listen,
This is
and I feel
ridiculous.
like
This is what the
the
streets need.
men's rumble is harder to predict. Um, I
I
will
got who I
say
want. You know what I mean?
who you got? Cody want? You want Cody to win?
I want Punk to win.
Punk?
Yeah.
I forgot. Like I'm so focused on Punk Seth thing, I forgot to even place Punk in the rumble. But yeah,
But
yeah,
like it's necessary. Me could reverse it, but he would have to win to get to Seth.
yeah.
In essence, because if Cody wins, he ain't dealing with Seth.
Nah, he going right after Roman. So
Yes, and I don't think Cody needs another Rumble win. I don't think he needs it.
no.
You know,
no. At least
I
not
don't
this
think
close
Punk ever
together.
won a Rumble.
Punk, no, he hasn't. His iconic Rumble moment was him commentating his entire Rumble run that one year.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
you know what I mean? So like,
I hope he does that again this year, just for nostalgia's sake.
he's a great commentator.
Yeah,
He's a great
yeah.
commentator. I really enjoyed that period. So I want Punk to win, but what I do enjoy about this year and how they've built it, they've had all these stars cross paths and just talk about, yo, man, like, we all vying for the same thing. I'm gonna see you in the Rumble. Like they all just
Yeah,
like, yo, we're not even
yeah,
trying to fight, but I'm gonna see you when I see you.
yeah,
And when these guys finally see each other, it's gonna feel like something. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, we were talking all this shit. What's up? I'm in your way now.
now
You
it's
know,
time. Nothing
and
between us but an
that's the
opportunity
feeling.
now.
And I think I really gotta give Triple H credit for creating this aura of like, yeah, anything can happen. The way you feel about you don't know who's gonna win, you really don't know. I have who I would like to win,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anything's possible at this point, especially with the injury to Seth right now. We don't know nothing. You know, we can't forecast nothing.
Nah.
But I love the way that these people's paths are crossing. I love the division between the brands because some of these other, you know, they really haven't cross branded a lot recently, which is great. So it's really gonna feel like a mix of people trying to get their shit in. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
who do you think are the surprise men's Royal Rumble participants?
Let's see. I will say, if Andrade does come back, I think this is the moment you do it.
I agree with that one.
Even though this is a wild story how he advocated for Rick to come to AEW and then he dipped. He was like, all right, peace. But I think Andrade, I would say like it would be so much more interesting if WWE would allow for just one-off appearances. So like you could appear in the Rumble, but we don't expect you to commit to the WWE full time. So like if Okada made an appearance or something like that.
I mean, they've done that before in the past, though, in the early Rumbles, in like in the '90s.
Yeah, but I feel
They've
like
had like
now
Dory
it's
Funk and these dudes come in and just do a thing, or when
yeah,
they were short staffed and they didn't have a big roster.
yeah,
They
they
had
have a
people
huge
come in and
roster now.
do
Yeah,
like one offs. They've done that before.
but as far like
they've done that before.
I'm trying to think like, and I can't think of any nostalgia entrance unless maybe they are in Philly, so maybe another RVD appearance.
RVD would be cool. No, well, no,
Maybe
they're gonna be in Florida.
oh no, I'm mixing up my Mania and Rumble shit. So yeah, scratch that. Yeah, as far as like the old school nostalgia ones, I don't know who would
X-Pac
come
was
in.
rumored, so we'll see if that happens. That'd be fun if X-Pac could come
Okay,
in.
yeah.
But I want it if he gonna come in, I want the pyro. They probably gonna he not probably gonna get the pyro. I want the pyro.
Yeah, nah, they should. They should. I feel like it's Triple H.
I'll tell you who I don't want to see. That'd be crazy. I don't want to see any more Kane appearances.
No,
because he's way too happy about Donald Trump. So I ain't trying to see Kane.
And Kane can barely move now. So like
that dude is cutting. He don't give addresses and speeches, man. He be cutting promos at the podium. Yeah. Fuck Kane, man.
Nah, that's what I think maybe a majority of the surprise entrances would be like NXT people. Like was Carmelo Hayes in last year's? Man. Who's out?
Think about people who are hurt. Andrade, I hope comes back, and I hope he gets with fucking Santos. I need that to happen.
Santos Escobar.
I need that to be. He need to be with Legado Fantasma.
They still beef with LWO.
A little bit, but the deal for me is like kind of fuck them. It's like, oh, Rey Mysterio's coming back.
Oh yeah.
I think he's coming back.
Yeah,
and I think him and Santos need to have their thing. Mm-hmm. It could happen at Mania. It could happen at Chamber. Whenever they decide to do that shit.
Yeah.
But that need to be a thing, and maybe Andrade could have a beef with Carlito or something like that. I don't know. Get Carlito something to do, but they need a. I think that would help Santos's stable.
Yeah.
I do like the other dudes too, Umberto and my other man. They cool. They cool. But just add Andrade to the joint, and I think they'd be straight. Especially because I think Andrade could use a mouthpiece and Santos could cut a promo now.
Oh yeah.
He's a rising star, so I think that shit works.
Yeah.
But Rey Mysterio is coming back to do some shit. Maybe Braun Strowman comes back. I haven't seen him in a long time. And people would like to see Big E. I don't know if Big E is coming back.
Yeah, man.
But if he did come back, I'd be a happy camper. Be good to see.
Yeah. But because like I feel like the last thing I heard was that it's probably a wrap for him, at least as a full-time wrestler. It's probably a wrap.
Man.
The Rumble, like he doesn't have to do any crazy bumps that would like put him in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Like going over the top rope is not, as long as you don't try to do the whole throw your body over and land straight on the mat. Just land on your feet. When we got limited, damn, that sucks. But yeah, Big E would be a nice surprise. But other than that, I can't really think of. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone.
Allow him to get some offense in too. Yeah, he got hit a finisher or something when he got up in there. But we'll see.
Oh yeah.
If he pops out, I know he stays in Florida. A lot of wrestlers do.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully it's something that could happen. I mean, he was in Australia doing promo with the New Day this week.
Yeah.
So he's out and running. It looks like he's training. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But shout out to Big E. Continued success and recovery as well.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and speaking of injuries, I wanted to just say shout out to Keith Lee, who apparently has to have surgery on both his legs, which is what's been like he's been wrestling hurt for the last whatever matches you've seen him in the last few months. He's been hurt, and Mr. Reason they had to cancel the Swerve match from World's End, the AEW pay per view. So shout out to Keith Lee. He's been through a lot. I'm saying he caught COVID and that fucked him up for a long time. It's just like, and ever since then, it's feel like it's just been one thing after the other health wise with him. But so he hasn't been able to build up any momentum and stay consistent. But yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, man. I hope he gets well soon.
Yeah,
these guys could use breaks for sure. So, yeah, man. Hopefully, speedy recovery to him as well. That sounds pretty intense. But hopefully, he's back better and more mobile and more excited about what he'll be doing over AEW.
Actually, one thing I forgot to mention during the Women's Rumble talk, maybe Mercedes comes back. At least for the sake of ending all this speculation, where is she going? Like, this is the most he said, she said, back and forth thing, I think, since I can't remember the last time a wrestler's been like, oh, they're going here. Oh, no, they're not. They're coming here. Oh, no, they're not. They're going there. Oh, not. I just want it to happen already. Wherever she debuts, I just want it to happen already. So it's just not debuts. It would be a return if it was the WWE. It'd be a debut if it was AEW, but just.
Oh, you talking about Sasha?
Yeah. Like, I'm just sick of the speculation now, dog. I just need it to be over.
I'd say this. There's only one place where she belongs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And with the unfortunate injury to Charlotte, I think there's a spot. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. That would what it would do, man. It would certainly add to the star power of that Rumble. What I realized I watched the Women's Rumble from last year, and a couple of them, they've been booked pretty fun. They're really interesting Rumbles. The women have had good Royal Rumbles thus far. They might have had one whack one out of the maybe 5 that they've had, or whatever it is that they've had so far.
Yeah, and I think
they're fun.
I think not last. Was it last year's? It's either last year's or the day before or the year before. So it was just not good, and it was because they didn't have the bodies. So it was like half like young and current stars, and the other half were just like everyone from yesteryear. And it was just like, bro, you just trying out bodies at this point.
Real chemistry, no investment.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like you're just putting bodies out to have bodies. I mean, it's always good seeing the I don't want to call them old school because that makes me feel old because I watched them as a young adult, let alone as a kid. So,
right.
But seeing them come back is always cool. But like when it's just, I think a third, if not almost half of that Rumble was just all former employees who weren't currently signed. So that'll be different this year, though, especially with like those Tiffany Stratton and them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
that'll be good.
Good. So we'll see.
Before we head out, I'll just give this quick little blurb. I didn't even tell you this, and I'll tell you in detail off air.
Yeah.
But I have an opportunity tomorrow to be a part of the announcing of the next WWE 2K24 or 2K video game, which is 2K24.
Okay, that's what's up.
And I potentially have an opportunity to interview a reputable former women's champion in promotion of this game.
Ooh, that's what I like to hear.
It'll be a good time. This will be my second woman wrestler interview, but the first one I'll finally have on camera, as long as my supervisor doesn't do away with it.
Yeah,
I ran about it and I haven't heard back, but I told him I'll do it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lose the opportunity because they ended up in my inbox. So so yeah, man. So we gonna be document our wrestling interviews. We're gonna get more reputable with that. Look forward to that. I'm personally looking forward to the Rumble. Like I said last week, I thought it was gonna be this week. I got too excited. But there's a pizza spot called Crispy Pizza in Diker Heights that I like to go to. Man, I'm gonna go over there and get me some of that pizza. Probably pour up some drink. I don't know if I have some beer or some wine or something. And I will be enjoying the Rumble comfortably, cozily. Whatever happens, I have no. I wish I could bet on it. I don't know what sites allow you to bet on the Royal Rumble. If I can, I will. But I'm looking forward to it.
I want to say FanDuel might have WWE. DraftKings has a partnership with AEW, so I don't think they'll do WWE events. But I think maybe FanDuel. I'm pretty sure because I've seen like tweets of like people promoting like betting on.
Sometimes them things be running their course for a period of time. So hopefully it's still. Yeah. I would love to bet on the Rumble. That's something I would bet on.
So what me and my friends do, we didn't do it last year, but what we usually do is it depends on them. It's usually 1, 2, 3. It's usually 5 of us. So we'll all pick random numbers. Like we'll have the papers cut up 1 through 30, and each of us will pick 6 random papers. So whatever number you got is the entrant that's yours. So let's say you get like 7, 10, 13, 21, 25, and 30. Those 5 wrestlers are yours regardless. And then if any one of those win, we put money in the pot. And if any one of your picks wins, you get the whole money in the pot. So we do it for the men's and the women's. I've won twice. I won the year Asuka won the first women's one. I picked Asuka to win. Well, Asuka was she came up as one of the numbers I got randomly assigned, thankfully. And she won that. And I think I won a men's one as well. But yeah, that's how we usually, I think we do it. Everyone sends the winner $10, so you end up with like $40 to $50. Nothing crazy, but
we'll see, man. But again, this is a extremely fun time of year. So
yes.
Hope you all listening enjoy the Rumble. Enjoy it with folks. Enjoy it on your own. I look forward to doing a review next. Yeah, next week.
Yeah,
some point.
Try to get a preview
probably,
or review.
Yeah, we'll do it right. Well, the Rumble's on a Saturday, so we could probably record on a Sunday if you're free, and do a wrap up or whatever. That'd be fun.
Definitely. Yeah, I can do that. Definitely. We're gonna make that happen. That's all I got. And
we hit the time on the nose, man.
We hit the mark. Y'all. Yes.
And we come back to y'all refined and better and more frequently, consistently.
Yes.
This was episode 22.
Yes, indeed. This is the best of both worlds of wrestling. And I guess we always end the show with that Tony Storm quote.
Yeah, chin up and tits out.
Tits out. Watch for the shoe. I think we're going to switch it up. Not today, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head to close out with. But I think I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to start switching it up. But because it's always love to Tony Storm. And, and by proxy now, her little sidekick, Mariah May, little slim ting. Not to sound like Robert Griffin, RG3. And the way he be falling.
Before we go, let me just say this. I'm very uncomfortable with Robert Griffin being the one to interview that Kaniga player.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, bro, RG3, you're the last guy we want to hear you in these
Mr. Milk and Cookies.
The N-word. Because he be dabbling. You know what I mean?
That dude goes dabbling hard.
Bro, I know you be saying that word around him like crazy, man. Whatever, bro.
Yeah.
And he started talking about he was eating chicken during the interview, bro.
Of course he was.
He was eating fried chicken during the interview.
Of course he fucking was.
Anyway. It's been a pleasure, y'all. Enjoy the Royal Rumble.
Yes. Oh, and shout out to Harley Cameron. She was on Rampage in a fetching little number. Not to sound like one of these old wrestling perverts, but damn. Dr. Umar forgive me for that one too. Shit.
Yo. Dr. Umar, man, we'll send you our taxes, yo.
Yeah, we'll donate to your school. And never see that money again. But all right, y'all.
Man. Later on.
We are